Tega shipyard.
Alright. And then spawning in the bottom-ish middle left, the bottom center left, as the pink Terran, we have Monkey.
And on the top right, let's just go with 2 o'clock base. You have the purple Zerg from O Gaming. It is Maverick.
Yep, so we're going to actually see our first TVZ of the night. I'm excited. Are you excited? I'm excited.
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too, bro. All right.
And this is still going to be a best of 3, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's all best of 3.
Yep, this is going to be a best of 3 match. And yeah, we've been following Maverick since the last round. We saw him go up against Jetrix in the ZVZ, and now we're going to be able to see his ZVP. Not ZVP. This is not a Protoss. This is a Terran ZVT. PT, you know.
It's fine, bro. But we understand it happens sometimes. Happens. I get it. I get it.
Man, I'm a professional. I'm a professional. I'm not allowed to make those kind of mistakes.
Alright. So Monkey probably just gonna go 1 rack expand into 1-1-1 play. That is normally what happens in TVZ. Even in Heart of the Swarm, except instead of going for Banshees and Hellions, it goes Reapers and Tanks.
Yep, and it looks like Maverick is actually going to be taking a bit of a risk here. He's going to be getting his fast expansion before spawning pool, going for a very economic-based play, even though he hasn't seen Monkey expanding. And we do see a gas steal as well in Monkey's base.
And the extractor is going to be finishing up, so Maverick is actually doing something really smart, because to do 1-1-1 play, you are required to have a refinery at least during your command center building. And usually the command center and the extractor started up at about the same time, so Maverick stopping the refinery from being able to go down is a really smart, and it's basically a mind game. It's mind games, bro.
Yep. It also does get him some scouting information. He does know that there is only 1 Marine currently, now 2 attacking the extractor. So he is getting a good tabs on making sure that his opponent is still building Marines, which is actually a very important piece of information.
Yep. And now the refinery finally going down on the bottom. There was already one that just finished up for Monkey on the top geyser. Maverick getting his natural up right now. And Monkey, he's probably going to go for a more defensive play. I don't know if he'll go for the harassment 1-1-1 play straight away after him having gas blocked. So he doesn't really have the resources to be able to make a ton of Hellions and make the Banshees on time.
Now, I do want to say a little bit of control on Monkey's part that I really like. He is patrolling back and forth between the cruel hidden gas part of the base to make sure that he keeps vision on that very key spot, because you can get like just a lot of stuff just dropped in there, or even like a Nidus worm in that part, and you would never know about it if you weren't checking that area. So kudos to him.
Yeah. So, Monkey, as you said, doing a very smart move. We do have the reactor and factory finishing up about the same time. Starport probably going to get thrown down soon. From Maverick, we're going to have a Roach Horn, and now Monkey getting a 3rd command center pretty quickly.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to be trying and getting some containment done on his opponent, make sure that he doesn't have any pressure coming back on his bases, and then go for that 3rd. That Overlord, did that Overlord see the 3rd command center going down? It did. So Maverick is aware that there's a third command center going down right now, even though he is actually supply blocked for the moment.
Yeah, so Maverick, he knows that he's probably not going to have too many Hellions coming into his bases in the early game, and he can play it a bit safe earlier on. But Monkey going to still be making a Banshee. No cloak, though. At least not yet.
Yeah, and he still hasn't started the cloak, and it looks like he's going to be going down, throwing down 2 engineering bays and a barrack. So it looks like he could actually be saying, "All right, I'm going to go 1-1-1, but then I'm just going to transition into straight up bio."
Yeah. As I said earlier on, he doesn't really have the resources to be able to fully commit to a full-on 1-1-1 play. So Monkey just gonna get his +1 infantry weapons, gonna get stim, going to go up to 3 barracks, and just gonna go into Marine Tank medevac.
Yeah, and it looks like the factory actually just canceled its add-on and then switched onto the tech lab, and we're going to see tanks coming out again. So, as a matter of fact, he might just be going with these Hellions and then that one Banshee, which flew away somewhere. Yeah, just that one Banshee to get some damage done.
Yep, and it looks like it's going to catch a few roaches that are heading across the map right now. 2 spore crawlers immediately going down for Maverick. Spire going down. Baneling Nest 1-1 for melee. So Maverick, he's guiding all of his tech. Monkey, he's getting siege tech, getting +1 infantry armor, and also getting a Viking, which is a pretty smart move. As Terrans, I don't see them getting enough Vikings out in TVZ. Even if it's just one Viking, it does help just kill off some scouting overlords and gets you the map control.
As a matter of fact, I don't know if he started building it before or after, but he did scan Maverick's main and he did see the Spire going down. He saw the Spire under construction, so that Viking could very well be in response to seeing that Spire. Yep, we do see missile turrets coming up on the side of his base as well. So he is going to be ready for any sort of Spire harassment.
Yep. And right now, Monkey just going to be sending in his Banshee to the 3rd base of Maverick here. Spore Caller trying to frantically get burrowed in. It will get burrowed in. There is no cloak on the Banshee, so it's not really going to be doing much as soon as that Banshee gets out of range. And now the Spore Crawler in the natural is ready. So Banshee not really going to be able to do much.
Yeah, it looks like the Banshee is going to be forced to sit there for now. It might be able to actually pick off this evolution chamber, but no, it is in range of the Queen. So the Banshee is actually just going to hang out there in the corner of the map and be a persistent thorn in Maverick's side. He will always have to remember that Banshee's there because it could come back in at any time. And it looks like it's going to be just poking around, checking back and forth, seeing if there's any opening and making sure that Queen's still there.
Yep. And right now we do see quite a few Marines out for Monkey. Do have infestation pit on the way for Maverick, as well as 18 more drones. So he's just trying to get his 3rd base up. Maverick currently attacking the debris over by the 3rd base of Monkey. So he's going to be opening up that path as early as he possibly can.
Yeah, and Monkey does not realize that yet. And if he moves his army any further out and doesn't see the Lings, it could be bad. He is building a bunch of turrets, but turrets cannot hurt Lings. But debris does go down, and Maverick still doesn't know it.
Yeah. Monkey, he just doesn't quite realize it yet. His vision is just one hex short of seeing it, and now Monkey going to be moving his army forward, and Maverick has to retreat all of those Zerglings.
Yeah, Maverick does lose that advantage. He doesn't get the chance to do some damage. As a matter of fact, he might even lose this 4th, as all his Lings are forced to fall back, leaving that 4th to be canceled. The cancel is forced, and it looks like that drone's just going to try and hide in the corner of that base, and will succeed in hiding.
Yeah. Yeah, and right now Monkey going to be moving across the map. Actually, 4th base just going to be left untouched. And now Monkey moving onto the creep, going to be sieging up his tanks here. And so far, Maverick, he's only on Lair Tech right now. He has Infestors, he has a few Banelings, but he needs to try and get to Hive as soon as he possibly can. And now Maverick going to be moving across. He's supply blocked at the moment. Infestors going straight into the army. Nice bungles though, and the Baneling's going to be blowing up on almost everything.
Yep, Maverick definitely caught Monkey at a good time there, right as the siege tanks were moving, but the Marines are still going to be pushing in with the remainder of the siege tanks, at least picking off creep tumors, killing all the creep spread. And going into the third.
Yep, and right now we do have Monkey is in fact doing quite a bit of damage. But now Maverick getting a lot of Zerglings, killing off all of the tanks. So that was a little bit sloppy by Monkey, but now he's just going to remake all of those units. And Maverick is down by 20 supply at the moment.
Yep. Maverick definitely caught Monkey's army at a good time, though. He was right in the middle of moving his reinforcing siege tanks forward, actually, so the Lings could rush in and get around the siege tanks that were sieged up, get out of their range, and take them out before they cause too much of a problem.
And now Maverick he has a few more Banelings ready. There are no roaches with this army this time, and Maverick going to be catching the tanks on siege. The Infestors moving up really close. Bungles going down pretty easily, and the Banelings blowing up on almost everything.
That was very good play on Maverick's part, reducing Monkey's army to shambles. There's one siege tank left with 30 hit points, and he's just forced to camp out the Zelnaga Tower until more reinforcements can come.
Yeah, now Maverick has a lot of Infestors here, so that does mean that Monkey, he really, if he can get those tanks set up and kill off these Infestors, Maverick is going to have a hard time. But now we do have 39 Banelings getting morphed in for Maverick. The Marines and tanks are moving closer and closer. Fungal's going down preemptively as much as Maverick can possibly do. And now the Banelings all rolling in. Nice Fungals on the bio, and the Banelings blowing up on everything. Everything dying for Monkey,
Wow.
but Maverick's still down 30 supply.
Yeah, it looks like Maverick has done a very good job just holding Monkey's army off. So far, he's killed Monkey's army off twice. It looks like a third army is going to be trying to push along. Monkey is not aware of Maverick's fourth, which that hidden drone managed to rebuild. 3 medevacs getting sniped off by the Infestors before they can get away. It looks like actually only 2 are going to get sniped off. One's going to manage to stay alive.
Yep. And now it looks like Maverick going to try engaging this bio army in the middle of the map, doing a pretty good job. The Infestors killing off a lot of the bio, and with not too many medevacs left, Monkey can't really save a lot of those Marines. But now Maverick, he's doing a good job. He's been down in supply for quite a while, but he's getting 3-3, he's getting Adrenal Glands, he's getting his Greater Spire, and he's getting a ton more Zerglings.
Now Monkey does stem up into Maverick's 4th base and does manage to take out that hatchery, but that hatchery is only 300 minerals and it can be rebuilt. Maverick does have the minerals to rebuild it. It does have the minerals to replenish his army, while Monkey is stuck low and he's running out of minerals, and his army is caught out of position by a few Lings just running in.
Maverick, though, he's just throwing these units away. He needs to try and get a large enough army, but Maverick doesn't really have a choice. He has to, or else Monkey is just going to be progressed too far onto his creep that it'll be really hard to hold.
Yep, and 50 Lings actually just coming out from Maverick. Monkey again getting to work at the creep spread, dumping scans to get the creep. It looks like actually we have SCVs long distance mining from the middle of the map. It looks like Monkey is actually running out of money in his bases.
Yeah, and now Maverick, though, is trying to hold off this attack, and now the Infestors, the Banelings, all coming in right here. There isn't a lot of bio to get fungled, and all of the tank. There's only one tank left. Monkey still ahead so much in supply.
Monkey again, just rebuilding his army again. It's hanging out at the cross point between his three bases to make sure that they're safe. But we do see actually an addition of a lot more Vikings into this army.
Yeah.
Maverick's Greater Spire is out, so...
Yeah, Monkey, all these Vikings probably preemptive for Broodlords, but I really do feel, though, Maverick should try and just get Ultralisks. It seems like a smart choice, as there really isn't that much infrastructure for Marauders to be built, and it's pure Marine tank. If you go Ultralisk versus this, it's very hard to deal with as a Terran, especially if there's good fungals, especially if there's a lot of Lings.
We do see both players actually going for the middle of the map now, trying to expand. They're trying to get down that fourth base, which will be key as both of them are running very low on minerals to mine. They're going to try and... Maverick's going to try and hold this line in the middle. I don't know if that's going to fare if Monkey decides to push in.
Yep, and now Maverick is pushing in. All of his banelings exploding on a lot of the bio. Maverick's still down in supply. So many banelings at the ready for Maverick, but he needs to get some sort of hive tech unit out, as he's only been on tier 2 at the max.
He does actually manage to clean up almost all of Monkey's bio, though. Fungals going down, fungaling the few Marines as 5 medevacs actually hurled over those 5 Marines. 1 medevac per Marine, luxury Marine cruisers.
Yep. And now the infested Terrans out at the fourth base, actually going to be causing some friendly fire on the SCVs.
And now some SCV kills for Maverick here. The mules will get dropped down almost immediately, though. Maverick, though, still just relying on Zergling. Infestor needs to make some sort of tier 3 unit for Zerg, as it really, Zerglings and Banelings, they won't fare that well.
Monkey is going ahead and morphing a planetary fortress at the center, and if that planetary fortress goes down, it is going to be very key for Monkey holding the middle. Banelings and Infestors do not fare well against planetary fortresses because they are not biological units. They can't be fungal.
Yeah. Yep, and now the Banelings are rolling in, but there weren't too many fungals available, so now it's just the Infestors left for Maverick. Ultralisk Cavern coming in for Maverick now, but I'm just wondering, is it too little too late?
Yeah, Monkey is still able to actually rebuild. He is mined out at his main. He's mined out almost at his natural with 40 minerals remaining in his natural. But he has secured the center of the map now, and he is going to go ahead and push back, take out Maverick's fourth, and force Maverick to try and pull an army out of really nothing. He's almost mined out in his third. He's almost mined out in his natural, and he is mined out in his main base.
Yeah, both players, they need to find some resources to collect at this point, as they're running really low. Both players have a pretty big gas bank, but they don't really have any minerals to be able to go with those gas resources that they have collected. Chitinous plating starting up for Maverick now. Needs to get some Ultralisks out.
It looks like Maverick's going to be trying to sneak a fourth in over at the side of the map. But Monkey knows that Maverick's almost out of Monkey, so he has his Vikings poaching around, trying to pick off some Overlords, trying to find bases to land at, and actually just snipe flat out. Because Monkey actually has control over the map right now, and Maverick's just trying to sneak some bases in.
Yeah, right now Maverick going to be getting his first Ultralisk out. And I don't know, with only one Ultralisk, it might not be enough. You usually need about 4. The Vikings still have not found the fourth base. A lot of Zerglings are out. Banelings could help as well.
Marines do find the fourth base now. A lot of Zergs going in, but even if the Marines die, they automatically transmit that there is a fourth base there to the rest of the army. And it looks like the army is going to be moving out somewhere. We'll have to wait and find out where they're actually going. Few Marines heading over to try and pick off the 4th, while the majority, it looks like, is just pressing forward.
Yeah,
Maverick's
and
army abandoning his main.
Yeah, but still, Maverick is down about 70 supply. It's it's becoming a bit of a problem. He hasn't really had any hive tech unit to work with.
All the Vikings do get fungled now, and it looks like they're going to actually get chain fungled, and they might, almost all of them might go down if these fungals keep going, and they are. As a matter of fact, oh, the Vikings just managed to get out, and now they're going to be putting pressure in the core again as Monkey's army just goes ahead and says, all right, your army's over there. I'm just going to push out your main.
Yep, and now Maverick gonna have to attack from the back. This might actually be a good thing because all the tanks are at the back of the army, and the bio, though, still getting pretty good shots off. The tanks getting really nice shots off as well on the Zerglings. Maverick, I think it's over, man. Maverick, he just doesn't have the supply to be able to beat Monkey. And I think that just the Broodlords, the Ultralists, they came just a little too late.
Yes, Maverick did have the ability to make Broodlords for quite some time now, but we do see his first 5 Broodlords actually hatching right now. And there are still Vikings on the map too, so those Broodlords won't be able to save him. As he loses his 3rd, and it looks like, yeah, I mean, he's on lockdown. He's in starvation mode, man.
Maverick is pretty much out of this game. It looks like he's just trying to see if maybe these Broodlords will be his trump card, but Monkey just has the production to be able to do anything he wants at this point.
We have drones, Broodlords, and an Infestor moving across the map. We got this.
Yeah.
Oh no, Vikings! I didn't plan for that.
Yeah. Realistically, Monkey, if he loses all this, oh, never mind, GG coming out of Maverick.
So that does mean that Monkey going to be taking the first game of the best of 3, 1-0.
And game 2 will be coming up shortly, and it will be Maverick's pick. Maverick, your map.
Take her by the hand, give her love, try to understand her. Think again, yo. No, I don't think so. No, I really, really don't think so. Says she wants a man who always treat her right, give her love, be there every night. Yeah, right. Oh, I don't think so. No, I really, really don't think so. It's just words. If you don't back it up with action, it's just words. You settle for less and you get what you deserve. It's words. If you don't back it up with action, it's just words. You settle for less and you get what you deserve. Words, words. Words, words.
By the way, guys, if you enjoy the music that is played between games, you can buy the album. If you go to IvDgaming.com, it's in the front page, in the scroller thing. The band is named Groove Addiction. If you buy it through there, not only are you helping the band, you're also helping us at IvD Gaming, as buying it through that gives us a bit of a share. Alright, I am just gonna check something. See.
What's the deal about the map?
This is just the new version of it. There's rocks at bases now.
And the rocks only have 1,000 health.
Rocks.
Plus, also, it's just aesthetically changed a bit.
Whirlwind. This map. I remember this map.
Alright, everybody, welcome back to IvD Gaming number 77. We're getting into game number 2 between Maverick and Monkey. I am Master Vulcan. With me is Sir Kolveski.
Woo! Yeah!
Alright. So, the map is GSL Whirlwind SE, spawning on top of the purple Zerg, down 0-1. From OGaming, it is Maverick.
Yeah, and Maverick actually get a little mystery there. Spawning in the bottom left. The player who actually did manage to win the game before, though it took a long time. It was a long macro game. Both players losing all their minerals and all their bases, but unable to take another one till the very end. We have our pink Terran Monkey.
Yeah. Alright.
Oh,
Sorry?
come on.
Go.
Alright, so Whirlwind. This map is massive. Like, seriously, like the distance from one base to another is like, that's how I describe distance. Would you agree that's an accurate description of distance, Dolk?
That is an accurate description of distance. It really is. And because this is such a big map, there are really two things that can happen to, sorry, got confused over nothing. Alright. There are really two things that can happen on this map. One, both players go really greedy, or two, one player goes really greedy and then the other player goes extremely cheesy. Main reason being because it's harder for you to get scouted, you might go cheese, and then if you get lucky and scout your opponent first, then your cheese will hit right away. Usually, though, in TVZ, it's more standard one rack expand into 1-1-1 play versus 16 hatch, 16 pool.
Yep. I mean, we could very well see very different play than we did last game. Last game, the map forced the players to actually be locked down on 3 bases each, to the point where they actually they had both mined out almost all 3 bases before one of them managed to take a fourth and eventually win the game. In this map, you have 5 expansions.
Yeah, Antigua Shipyard, it's an old map. We all know it sucks. So
you don't have to say that.
but it's a really old map. Things have changed in map making. Let me put it that way. Things have changed in map making. Yes, it sounds better. Alright. So, yeah, as you said, both players, they're usually stuck on 3 bases on Antigua Shipyard. It's really hard to take a fourth. Whirlwind, though, it's much more new. Old things have been thrown out, new things put in, and it's also made by Team Crux, not Blizzard.
Now you're trash talking Blizzard too, man. Come on. But we do
Bro.
actually we see fast expansions from both players. So it looks like, yep, Monkey's gonna be all right. I'm gonna wall into my natural. Maverick's gonna be okay. I'm just gonna sit here on 2 bases. We do not even have a gas actually out of Maverick yet.
Yeah.
And then he puts down 2. And that's how it works.
Alright. So far, pretty quiet. Maverick getting 2 more gases right now. Monkey gonna be throwing down a bunker, actually not at the ramp of his natural, gonna be putting it towards the center of his natural expansion. It's kind of different. Usually you put it at the ramp so that way it catches everything immediately. And also I just realized that I have 3D portraits on and it looks really weird for some reason.
What?
Yes.
You have it on and it looks weird?
Yeah, because I messed around with my variables text, right, to like turn off bloom, so everything's like dark.
Got it. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure Curran understands. But we have 2 Hellions actually making their way across the map as Maverick is going ahead and taking his third, and it looks like this game's actually about to kick into action.
Yeah. As right now, Monkey gonna be sending out his Hellions, getting his Banshee, and Maverick already has 4 queens out on the map. These Hellions not really gonna be able to do much.
Those queens they're camping out far out. If the Hellions could get by the queens are actually going off of creep now. Incredibly surprising as they realize their mistake and hurriedly get back on the place where they can actually run around and frolic like queens instead of moving at snail's pace.
Yeah. They're a little bit like Hydralisks, except queens, if they're basically normal land is lava, creep is dry land. And queens, if they go into the lava, they slowly die as if they're in Minecraft.
It looks like the monkeys might... The Hellions are monkeys.
Yes.
The Hellions almost went up into the third, but they actually didn't do that. That would have been very important for them to check that third to see if that third was there. But yeah, he actually still does not know that Maverick is on the third base yet.
Alright, so Maverick going to be getting his third base, and Monkey just trying to go around, trying to see where he can poke in.
The Banshee is going to go ahead and come in for Monkey, and it does not have Cloak, so this queen might be able to just fend it off without it actually losing a single drone.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. This Banshee, it's really close to dying. Will the queen get it? Yes, the queen will. So it just takes away 1 threat for Maverick.
Yep, and it looks like we have a lot of Lings moving out towards the center of the map. They might go and try and take the Hellions on. The creep spread is pushing forward. It's going to be very important on this map as the travel distance is so long. Creep can be so important. Once you get creep spread across the whole map, you can catch units on the creep. You can do a lot in just all this empty space in the center of the map if you have it covered in creep.
Yeah.
Right now, Maverick just trying to build up a Zergling army as there are quite a few Zerglings just waiting out in the center of the map. Maverick going to be getting his passaging lens upgrade as well as 1-1 for melee right now.
Monkey does again do the same kind of scan in the main base as he did last game. I do like that it does give him a good idea of what's going on. He sees the infestation pit, he sees the Bangling nest, he sees the macro hatch, which does generally let him assume that there is a third base there, and as a matter of fact, he does see the extraction and the creep of Maverick's third with that Viking too.
Upgrade.
Yeah. So right now, Maverick going to be getting his 4th base over on the right side of the map. And I'm just, at the moment, I'm trying to find the rocks. Because that is what the whole point of being on GSL Whirlwind SE is. The fact that there's rocks. Oh. Oh, now I get it.
Yeah,
There's-
there's rocks choking off the ramp at the
Yeah. I thought they meant like the normal way rocks are used, where it's where the hatchery / command center / nexus goes.
slash conveniently placed rocks so you can't build there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now I get it.
these rocks appear much more like for the sake of the person who's actually trying to defend the base, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, they're like natural force fields.
That you can attack.
Yeah.
Oh, we do actually have a drop play going. It's going to get seen as he hovers around these creep tumors for a bit, but will Monkey actually look at the medevac? He does drop at just the edge of the creep. These Marines might be able to get in and do some damage actually before Maverick realizes what's going on. They're going to the mineral line, and 1 drone's down, 2 drones, 3, 4, 5, 6. A lot of drones. I lost count.
Yeah, so far 10 workers killed in total by Monkey this game, and now all the Zerglings coming in. So, oh, actually the Zerglings aren't able to attack. And now there's also another Marine force over at the 4th base going to be killing off that hatchery as well.
Yeah, this has happened to me many times on the map. Because the map is so huge and all the bases are spread out, drop play becomes very important. As a matter of fact, at the same time, he's pushing in the middle of the map, taking out the queens who are spreading creep.
Yeah, and this is actually exactly how STX Innovation, or otherwise known as Bogus, beat Stefano earlier this week in the GSL Code S round of 32 on this map. The multitasking was just too much for the Zerg, but we're going to have to see, is Maverick going to be able to beat the Terran unlike Stefano?
Indeed, we are. The Zerg army is much stronger when it's all clumped together and can mass. When you've managed to pull the Zerg army thin by attacking in many different bases, the Zerg becomes exponentially weaker just based on how their units work.
Yeah, and Monkey is up by 40 supply at the moment. Supply blocked a little bit. And Maverick, he's getting his Greater Spire now. He's going to be getting the Brute Lords a lot quicker compared to the last game, which is going to help him quite a bit. Now, if he can get some Ultralisks as well, that'll probably help him too. Greater Spire finished up now, and it looks like Monkey going to be killing off a few creep tumors right outside the natural. Broodlords are getting morphed in here, so Maverick might looking in a much better spot.
Yeah, we did see some really nice Baneling hits going on a bit earlier, and some very nice bundles right now, just cleaning up all the bio, leaving the medevacs to be picked off slowly by the 1 corruptor that remains.
Yeah. So right now we do see that Monkey isn't really able to push forward, and now some medevacs going to go down. This 1 corruptor going to be killing off quite a few of the medevacs there, and some Marines going to be going up to the top right corner. Looks like they stim themselves to death. And everybody watching, don't do drugs. If you do drugs, you'll end up like those poor Marines over on the top right corner that are so close to dying, but aren't dead yet.
Yeah, they're just scout Marines anyway. And it looks like, did they even see? No! Well, kind of. Monkey knows about the extractors at Maverick's 4th. So,
Yeah.
I guess that kind of...
Ready to plunder.
But those Marines are actually going to get kicked off really fast now. We do have lots of Vikings starting to accumulate just to deal with the Broodlords. And by lots, I mean 2. 2 Vikings is a lot of Vikings, guys.
Yeah. So right now, Maverick just going to be building up his Broodlord Infestor Zergling army here. Monkey going to be getting some Thors. He's getting 3-3 right now, plus 1 Flyer Carapace on the way for Maverick as well. Monkey just still on 3 bases, while Maverick is on 4 and can practically get 5 pretty easily.
Yes, he does actually have center control right now. And with his creep spread, which he's doing phenomenally, he can actually control a whole quarter of the map. I would even say that he could actually probably take his whole half of the map. He has that much control at this moment.
Yeah, it's not like last game where Maverick just has a tower but is losing fights constantly at the tower. He has the tower and he can keep it pretty easily.
Yeah, but again, the more that you spread out as the Zerg, the more susceptible he will be to drops. We do need to see some more drop play go down just to make sure that Maverick is kept on his toes and can't push too far into Monkey's base.
Yep, and now a lot of SCV is going to be dying from some Zerglings, and Maverick is setting up some more Broodlords outside the third of Monkey. Monkey just sieging up. Marines and Thor is going to try setting up here. Vikings moving in now. Needs to get some anti-air here.
Yeah, and he did just morph all the Corruptors that he had with his army into Broodlords. The Infestors are able to fungal the Vikings, and they will go down, but not before they get off a few key shots. The Banelings getting mowed down before they even get in. Infestor slowly fungling away Monkey's army, but I don't know. He's losing a lot of money on those Broodlords right now.
Yeah, the Broodlords are going down to the Thors right now because Monkey's doing a good job at targeting down those Broodlords. Infested Terrans are getting spawned in all over the place by Maverick, right around Monkey's army. And I think Maverick, he needs to retreat. He just doesn't have the force to be able to save his Broodlords, and his Broodlord's actually just going to die.
Yeah, I would say it's hard to tell who actually came out on top at the end of that fight. Yes, Maverick did lose all his army, but he can rebuild, and he is on top. Actually, he's now on 5 bases to Monkey's 3, and that did let him put up a lot of pressure, did let him start that 5th base and complete it.
Yeah, and right now we do have Maverick going to be catching a lot of Monkey's army, but obviously not enough. More Broodlords are getting morphed in, and more Zerglings trying to get hatched in. The drones are getting pulled already from the 4th base, so it's just a hatchery left.
They are actually attacking the egg just to prevent a few lings from coming out. And now they're attacking the hatchery, and the hatchery is going to go down. The drone's taking the long way to get to safety and make sure they don't get mowed down on the way. Lots of lings spilling into the center of the map, going in for a counterattack, while Monkey's army is in the opposite corner of the map.
Yeah, this is a very smart decision, especially since that 4th base of Monkey is really, really undefended, and now the Zerglings coming in here, forcing the lift and a cancel on the Planetary Fortress. These Zerglings are going to be a really, really big hindrance to Monkey.
Yeah, but we do see Monkey pushing out, trying to get control of the center of the map. Again, it's the fight for control of the center, but it's also the counterattacks. It's the drops, it's the Ling run-bys that are doing a lot in this match.
Yep, and the Vikings doing a good amount of damage on the Broodlords. Only 3 remain. Infested Terrans and Fungals going down on the Vikings here. And it looks like the Vikings will get killed off. 2 Broodlords will remain for Maverick right now. We do have +3 Ground Carapace and 50 more Zerglings on the way for Maverick here. Maverick, I really do think if he gets some Ultralisks, it'll help him quite a bit, because there is no way a Monkey can get enough Marauders. But realistically, Maverick, he's still really ahead. He's ahead by 70 supply at the moment, and along with this, if he gets the Ultralisks, he will, well, never mind, Monkey gonna GG out, so Maverick gonna be tying it up 1-1.
Yep. That map was very, I'll say, the big key to that game was mobility. It was those counterattacks, which kept your opponent distracted, which kept them from getting too high on bases, kept Maverick on top. That Ling run by at the 4th was done beautifully. And it was overall just a really good game, and we're going to be going into Game 3. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
I can't take it. I know you think I'll ever make it.
Monkey's asking about the map in the gaming chat.
Alright. Alright, Toon Valley. Alright. Monkey, invite the cat.
Hit the snooze, then hit the snooze again. 6:15, that's when it seems like that button's my own.
Alright. Alright, everybody, we're getting into the last game of this round 3 match? Yes, round 3 match between Maverick and Monkey. This time it's going to be on GSL Entombed Valley. Spawning right on top of the Pink Terran, currently teamless. He is Monkey.
Yep. And then spawning in the top right, looking for a comeback. Maverick, who actually just managed to take a game off of Monkey, is spawning as our purple Zerg in the top right.
So Maverick tied it up pretty nicely, 1-1 last game. Now we're on Entombed Valley. Maverick might be getting the jump on scouting as his Overlord is already heading vertically. But anyways, Sir Kolbeski, what do you think we'll be seeing?
I think that we're going to see a lot of play similar to we did on the last map. The way that this map is set up, again, you do have your own side of the map that you can control, and you don't necessarily have to fight for your expansions until the very, very end, which Maverick seems to be better at than like we saw in the first game when he had to fight to get his 4th. He seems much more comfortable in that higher macro style, so I think Maverick will probably try and force the game to go later. And in response, Monkey could very well actually try and get some early pressure on, so it looks like we are going to be seeing that fast expand to 1-1-1 again. We won't really be able to tell until we see the command center going down.
Alright, so yeah, we're probably going to be having that 1-1-1 play, but also for Maverick, I think we might be seeing some mollusks coming out this game. Toon Valley is really open, lots of paths around this map. It's really hard to cover every single way of entry, especially if it's an air entrance. So mollusks are pretty strong on this map.
They are definitely, it is a much longer ground path than it is an air path, especially with this spawning scenario. If they had spawned cross map, then it would have been about the same ground distance as air distance, but with this vertical spawn, it is a much longer kind of path that the ground units have to go through. We do have actually a gas steal again from Maverick.
Yeah, Maverick just doing the same thing he did in game 1. But realistically, you only need the 2 gas if you're going 1-on-1 to get Cloak on your Banshees. If you're not going Cloak Banshees, you don't really need the 2 gas. You can
you're fine on the one gas, especially since Monkey just goes 4 Hellions, Banshee, and then that's it. That's all the harassment that he puts out. He goes 3 barracks. Right after that, goes straight into Marine Tank Medevac. So having one gas isn't too much of a hindrance to him.
Indeed, and we do see him manage to take out that extractor actually rather quickly, not letting him delay him nearly as much as it did, and getting that second refinery fully saturated like immediately after that. He does manage to chase away the stray Overlord too, so actually he's doing a fairly good job denying Maverick from getting too much information.
Yeah. So, right now, Maverick, as you said, pretty in the dark. Can't really see much. So, just going to probably play it really safe, not really going to try and do much. So, Overlord here can't really go too much farther because of these 2 patrolled Marines here from Monkey. We do have, actually, the 2 Monkey going up to 3 barracks when the factory is finishing, so we won't be having too much harassment coming out at all from Monkey in the early game.
Yep, it looks like we could still be seeing, we will be seeing some early Hellion harassment, but he is going barracks before Starport, which is different from what he had been doing for almost this whole time. So we could just see him trying to go straight into the tank play and forgoing the Banshee.
Yeah. Alright, now we do have 2 Queens of Maverick going to be taking out the rocks over between the natural and the 3rd base of his own natural and 3rd. Metabolic boost on the way. And Monkey getting out some Marauders right now. This could be pretty interesting as Stim is also on the way.
And it looks like we're going to have Hellions. They come in and they see the 3rd base, and then they immediately, it seems like they're going to fall back. They don't want to get into a mess with those Queens again, and he wants to definitely get some use out of them and not just sacrifice them.
And it looks like Monkey going to be going for a Hellion Marauder timing push with Stim. And that's going to be pretty interesting, as that's not something we normally see.
Yeah, and it's definitely not something that Maverick has seen this series so far. He is probably expecting the same kind of 1-1-1 harassment as he has seen previously, given that it is the same Hellions which are pushing up at his front, and he does know about the Hellions now. And this could very well catch him off guard.
Yeah. Right now, Maverick going to be getting a Baneling Nest. It might be able to help if he can do some Burrow Bane tactics, but otherwise than that, the Banelings won't really be able to do much. The Marauders, I don't believe they have concussive shells yet, though, so it might be able to actually help. And yeah, it looks like it's just gonna be Hellion Marauder.
Yeah, we do finally see a starport going down, so some medevacs will probably start getting incorporated. He could build a Banshee now and have like a delayed Banshee pressure. Banshees are always good. They do always manage to at least disorient your opponent, if not do some actual physical damage.
Yeah, right now, Maverick, in a pretty awkward position here. Hellion Marauder already just puts you in an awkward position because it's just something you don't normally see. Maverick is just going to get a ton of Banelings, a ton of Zerglings, and just hope it works. Scan's going down to take out some creep tumors right here. Maverick going to have to try using his 22 Banelings to try and kill everything off. There is no concussive shell, so the Banelings will be able to hit, and now the Banelings coming in. All the Hellions will be dying. The Zergling's going to be coming in from the back, and everything dying of Monkey. Very well done by Maverick there, as now he has an open Terran to attack.
Yeah, and there was some very nice flanking play going on with Maverick as well. He did send his Lings around through the exit of his 3rd, actually, to be able to come behind and pin in Monkey's Marauders. Monkey's attack could have definitely done a lot more damage had Maverick not had that very good control.
Yeah. And now Maverick also getting up his hive. He's getting pathogen glands, getting centrifugal hooks now too. So Maverick is just in such a ridiculous lead at the moment. Plus also Maverick up by 20 workers right now. It's looking pretty good for him.
Yeah, it looks like Monkey is going to be sticking with his Hellion Marauder, Hellion Marine. It's Marine Marauder Medevac with Hellion in it. And it looks like he's going to be trying to push towards the center. Going to quickly see that there's a whole bunch of Balins there and try and retreat. Looks like a lot of his army is going to get surrounded by the Lings, and he's going to be taking massive damage here.
Yeah. Monkey just lost so much in that engagement there, and Maverick now can just keep pushing forward. The Banelings still are there for Maverick right now, and with these Zerglings, he's going to try and do as much damage as he possibly can before all his Zerglings die.
Maverick, and with that pressure, Maverick has managed to actually go down, to manage to put down a fourth safely. He has managed to keep Monkey contained in his base, contained actually back on 2 bases, and there isn't even a command center ready to take a third at the moment. So Maverick is going to effectively be ahead 2 bases.
Yeah. And again, Maverick just in such a lead now by about 30 workers. Getting his Spire, he's getting +2 ground carapace, and Monkey, he just keeps trying to go for these little pokes, but he isn't able to do much, especially now that Infestors are out on the map for Maverick here. The Fungals will be able to just keep anything in place, and the Balins just blow it up. And this fight right now is just a prime example of just that, where the Infestors just fungled everything, the Banelings roll in, and everything blows up.
Yeah, and, ooh, we do have a very nice pickup from Monkey just to save those last few units as Zergling cannot attack the Medevacs. But he is still going to be forced to fall back. All the Hellions and Marauders and Marines that were rallied forward having to come back to the natural, back to regroup, back to try and come up with some way to push again.
Yeah. And right now it looks like Monkey, he's just keeping with this Hellion Marauder Marine Force, another starport on the way, and Engineering Bay going up now. Greater Spire started up for Maverick right now, and 34 more Banelings gonna get morphed in for Maverick.
Yeah, and I'm really surprised that that Monkey is staying on 2 bases. He is not showing any sign of even wanting to try and take a third as he attacks again, and Banelings come in and they manage to clean up the majority of the army, though it still is actually sticking around and it might be able to get this fourth.
Yeah, Maverick, he wasn't able to hold the units in place, so Monkey was able to split up his units, but now the Fungal does go down. Zerglings are going to have to come in here and clean everything up. Hellions and Marines reinforcing right now. Units are constantly being streamed across the map for Monkey here. But Monkey, he's in a kind of all-in mode. He's down by about 2 bases right now. He's down by about 20 workers as well. So if he doesn't make something happen, he's going to be in a world of hurt.
Yeah, and he could very well be just trying to secure map control. This army would be very good at just poking at his opponent, trying to maintain control of the Zone Naga Tower and allowing him to expand, but he doesn't seem to even show any sign of wanting to expand at the moment, as his main is almost dry, his natural is almost dry, and actually we have SCVs pulled with this army.
Yeah, and now it looks like Monkey going to be pushing out here. More Banelings are getting morphed in. Brewlord's also coming into the mix for Maverick here. So Maverick, he's in such a good position in terms of composition right now.
Yeah, and he does actually seem very confused as to what Monkey is doing as he started to take down the rocks. But in the meantime, we have Banelings coming in. They're going to take out the whole army, and Monkey's being forced to GG.
Very well played by Monkey and Maverick there, but alas, Monkey just not able to make it happen. So Maverick going to be going on into the round of 8. Currently, The IvD staff just trying to figure out what are we doing for the round of 8, mainly because the entire fourth bracket kind of screwed up and everyone got bye. So there's one guy who got a bye all the way into the round of 8. So
Yeah, wow.
yeah, we're just trying to figure out what are we gonna do. I'm suggesting just do a best of one 5-person group stage because one person's not here. So yeah, just best of one 5-person group stage, and then the people with the best 4 scores win.
And we will definitely keep you guys up to date as we figure out what's going on, and we will have more games for you soon.
Yep.
Spent an hour in the shower, got distracted 'cause I started this song. Damn, I bet I smoked my last cigarette. Every morning something goes wrong. Once again I'm driving, barely surviving. Always the same old routine.
Did
Yeah,
you get the game?
Huh?